Hi guys, Jonathan Chown here with JChownGolf at Crondon Park Golf Club in Essex, and today in this video what we're talking about is a big question a lot of golfers out there have, whether it's good players or bad players, but a lot of good players have this question as well, is they're trying to work on rotation in their golf swing but they can't quite do it, they can't quite rotate. Why can't I rotate? And that's what I'm going to lay out in this video today, is a good few reasons on why your body won't want to rotate, and there's a few things you need in there for your body to rotate. So before I get into that, this is really going to help you guys out there. It's going to make it crystal clear when you look at your golf swing and have a look about why you're not rotating, why you find it impossible to do. So make sure you like that video, and make sure you subscribe. It helps my channel out a ton, so make sure you hit that like button. And if you want 3 to 4 nice easy golf instruction videos each week, JChownGolf is your place to get them. So rotating in the downswing. Well, one, why do we want to rotate in a downswing? We want to rotate is because when we're rotating from there, of course, we're controlling the golf club of our body, we're controlling the shaft movement, we're controlling our club face, so we're not getting too much club face closure. We're having a nice square club face going through impact without too much volatility and too much rotation in that club face, like we said. And 2, it really helps with club head speed, so we're not losing and dumping club head speed last minute. A lot of you guys who stall out through there, you're losing your club head speed that you're gaining in a downswing last minute, so we don't want that. So for a lot of people that I see who do stall their rotation in the downswing, is usually a couple little bits going in there, and I'll get to the most important one first, and that is a steep shaft in the downswing. This is usually the #1 reason why people don't rotate. Now, what is a steep shaft? Steep shaft is when we get down the downswing and we see this vertical shaft going up there, like you're holding an umbrella over your head in a rainy day. Saying that, I hope it doesn't rain today. It's looking quite dark behind the camera. Really vertical club there. So if I'm continuing to turn, let's say I do rotate with this, I'm going to absolutely swipe the hell across the golf ball, and I'm going to make a divot that's going down to the core of the earth. I don't want to be doing that. I'm not going to hit good golf shots. I'll hit really low, really left to right, depending on my swing path, and very weak. So if we're having that steep shaft going down in there, we're not going to be able to rotate. Our body will know that outcome is not what it wants. So what your body will try to do with that steep shaft, it will back up early, it will stall its rotation, most likely early extend so it can get that club too shallow behind it, and then flip those hands lastly, because you've stopped rotating, your hands are still going, they've got to continue to go through the ball, otherwise you'll stop swinging the golf club. You're not going to get down here and stop. Those hands are going to continue to roll through because they take over the speed of your body. So a steep shaft in there. Now I'm going to get to a good video in let's say a couple of weeks or so about steep shafts, how we can fix a steep shaft, why we have a steep shaft in there. Because ideally what we want a shallow shaft in the downswing. We want this club to be pitching behind us. See where that club head is falling behind my body, because we can see from here, if we're shallowing it in the downswing and we're rotating through that golf ball, you can see how I don't need to stall out my body rotation. I can continue to really rotate through, and I'm going to be controlling path, I'm going to be controlling strike. My ball flight's going to be quite good too. I'm going to be very neutral in what my ball flight is. So steep shaft is a massive one, whether you're doing that from your trail elbow, moving and pointing behind you, which is a very common one, whether you're doing that through your left wrist, extending down there, or whether you're pulling down on that shaft in transition. There are all many ways that can cause a steep shaft. Again, I'm going to get to a video, I'm going to film a video for that exact thing, which is going to be great. So steep shaft, if that's what you see in your golf swing, we need to move into a shallow shaft in a downswing. We need this to be able to rotate. So that's your first one there. Your second one is depth at the top of the backswing. This is one I cover a lot on my channel because it is so important. Depth at the top of the backswing. And this is depth to your hand or depth to your left arm. Now, why is that important again? So if we have a backswing with a lack of depth first. So what's a lack of depth? A lack of depth is when we get to the top of the backswing and see how my left arm is very high. It's very high. It's not going across my chest. I can see my right shoulder there. You can see that. And you can see my hands are almost above. They're above kind of like my traps here, really more on my neck. If I rotate and rotate hard from this position, if I continue to rotate, again, can see how I'm going to swing very outwind, very swipey across the ball. I could actually shallow the golf club from doing that for sure. I could still shallow it from there, but I will still be very much out to win. Your body won't want to do that. So it knows it doesn't want to hit a 70-yard slice. It wants to hit the ball fairly straight. So what it will do, it will stop its rotation. You'll probably early extend in order to get that club to pitch and shallow behind you, albeit very late. And again, just like before with a steep shaft, your hands are going to take over, they're going to flip. It's going to be a bad time. So we really need to make sure that we're getting that part out of your golf swing if this is it. This is so common with slices of the golf ball. Really, really common. I see this with more times than not with slices. I'd say if I have in a week, let's say 20 slices of the golf ball come to me, I'd say 18 of them will be doing this. So that's how common this is when it comes to your swing path. So what we ideally want here, we want nice depth at the top of the backswing. So we know bad depth. Those hands are almost over my neck. My left arm is really I'm almost knocking myself out with being on my chin here. So what we want our left arm to be more across the chest. We want the hands being more, let's say, down in line with our heel here. So we want our hands almost being behind us. Now we can get there through nice body rotation, naturally gets you back there. But why we can see this is better with that left arm being across my chest, now my right shoulder's covered, hands are behind me. So when I turn in a downswing, that club goes nicely and gets nicely on path to where I can just rotate through there and I'm not going to get any negative effects. Because when we aren't rotating, it's because your body is stopping a negative effect from happening. Really important to know. You don't just don't rotate for the sake of not rotating. You do it for a reason. You do it for a reason. So our reason, if we had a lack of depth, is because that club path will be coming too much from out to in, be swiping way too much across the ball. You don't want to be slicing it and slinging it across the golf course. So we want to get those hands nicely behind us through good body rotation and turn through that ball nicely. Really make sure we're turning through that ball. I'll put a card up there for a good video I've done about lead arm depth and depth to the top of the backswing. Probably make another good video of that not so long as well. So second reason there is lead arm depth, massive one. A lot of people forget about this, but your body won't want to continue to swing in that golf swing if it's got too little depth. You'll be too much across the golf ball. That stopping is to get your path back on. You'll be flipping that club face anyway because of that. So that's the second one. Third one now. Now this one is the king of all things in anything golf swing related. Any golf instructor online or in person might be your club pro. This is something that we're always harping on about to you guys, and that is club face. Club face is king in a golf swing. Club face is king. So what we want to see with club face, if our club face in our golf swing is, let's say, too open, so this is a lot of it for, let's say, guys who don't rotate. If you've got a very open club face, so let's say maybe you're rolling those forearms in your takeaway, club face is open up, you might have a weak grip to where you're getting up to the top of the backswing with a very open club face. Again, if I rotate, the other two things might be there nicely. Let's say I rotate and I continue to rotate. Look how far right my club face, if you can see that, it's going, it's pointing. It's going to miss the range right. That's how far right that's pointing. Because what we've got to see with club face is when we rotate in the golf swing and we continue to rotate, our club face actually opens up going into impact. Because why it opens up? Because when we rotate, we get that holy grail of a thing called forward shaft lean. Rotation creates forward shaft lean. Now, when we lean that shaft forward, the club face naturally opens up and points out towards the right. Obviously, for me being a right-handed golfer, it points out towards the right. So if my club face is open in my golf swing, of course I'm not going to be rotating. My body won't let me do it. So if I've got a very open club face going through the golf swing, again, could be my left wrist extending, it could be me rolling the forearms, I could have a very weak grip. Could be any one of those. And if I get up to the top of my backswing and I continue to come down with that open club face, what my body is going to prioritise is going to prioritise the club face first. It's not going to prioritise rotating. And then I'm going to be flipping last minute. I'm going to have to stall out my body rotation and then quickly flip those hands to square that club face up last minute. I might even cast the golf club to get that club face to square, but it's all the body's attempt to really square that club face up. If I just continue to rotate, ball's going to go off the planet right. We don't want that. So your body is going to go, right, I want to stop that body rotation last minute, flip the club face to make sure it's squaring. And that is the only way you could square your club face doing that. Now, if your club face was more, let's say, squarer, you are going to nicely, so I can see I've got a square club face now, I'm going to be able just to rotate and that club face is going to return to square even with forward shaft lean. I'm still going to be hitting a fairly square shot. Now this is a little bit as well how you can see someone like Dustin Johnson with someone who's got an ultra closed club face at the top of his backswing. He has a strong grip and he bows his wrist. But you can see for him at impact, he's like this, he's incredibly rotated because for him, yes, forward shaft lean ends up squaring up his really close club face because we know forward shaft lean opens up the club face. If you had a very, very shut club face going into impact, it's actually going to square it up. That's why a lot of drills I do with people, if they have this problem, I would actually get them into, like, let's say a 3/4 backswing position, just to here, and I'd really close their club face. See if I can do it. I probably won't do it very well. So get up to the top, close that club face, and they've got to swing through and hit their ball to their target with as little curve to the left as possible. So they've got to be able to hit that ball straight with an extra strong club face. They've got to rotate very, very hard. So if I do that, get up to the top, close my club face off, rotate as hard as I can, you can see the ball's gone fairly straight there. But if you were over here, you would have seen I was rotating a lot and I had that shaft very forward. Only way for me to hit that ball straight, even with a clippy shot there. So we can see 3 quite easy to understand reasons to why we don't rotate. It's not really, when we understand these little variables, we can really get to the point, problem very fast, and why we don't rotate. So there are more reasons than this, but these are the 3 main ones out there. So steep shaft's a massive one. And then we know depth at the top of the backswing, often the forgotten one. It definitely makes your club face, or makes you not rotate through there. And 3, club face, obviously. If your club face is open coming into there, we need to flip, so we need to make sure we got that club face squarer, or maybe even on the hair closed side, you're gonna still be able to rotate. You're gonna, actually your body will incentivize it, but I would still advocate a nice squarer club face. So guys, hopefully after that, it's a little bit clearer on why you don't rotate. And if you've got any questions, put them down below and I'll get back to you and I'll answer them if you have any questions, or maybe something I haven't covered, which there sure will be. But if not, leave that comment down below. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like as well. Liking helps my channel out a ton. We need to get this kind of info. There's a lot of golf videos out on YouTube, but there's not really that many that explain things properly and explain things in depth without being overly technical. And I try my hardest on JChownGolf to try and do that. Make this quite simple to understand, but also get to the root cause so you know exactly why you do it. Knowledge is power in golf with your own golf swing, so we've got to make sure that happens. So make sure you like, subscribe as well. It's obviously great. So also guys, if this really helps you, really go out and practice and work on these things and let me know again. So guys, figure out what one is really your main problem there, get working on that, and then you'll finally be able to rotate.